What's up, Internet? My name's Mike Jones. Welcome to the Sport Folio show. It's Friday, so you know we're having seltzers, maybe some spring water just in case.
Got to.
And gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Go ahead.
Guys, Brandon Matthews, professional golfer, turned pro in 2016, lived down here in the beautiful Jupiter to Quest area, Florida here. Thanks for having me on. This is going to be a fun little podcast.
Dude, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm Dr. James Spencer. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks.
What do you think about Media Zone?
This is a pretty sweet place. I mean, you saw Danielle's eyes light up when she got in here. So it's pretty awesome, pretty incredible what you guys have been doing. I mean, I'm again looking forward to this.
And just for the listeners out there, Brandon went 10 for 10 on the old perfect practice putting out there. So just FYI.
I did. It's a little bit easier when there's a line to guide you, but
no judgment, no judgment.
Yeah.
An 8-foot putt's still an 8-foot putt,
That's
bro.
very true.
And I
Very
wasn't
true.
sure if she was more excited about the green screen or the putting green.
No, she was more excited about the green screen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I promise
Sure.
you that. I promise you that. My putting green gets in the way of her green screen at home. So
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
She may have vented about that.
She might have. Yeah.
May just slightly, you know.
Yeah. 100% she did.
So, but welcome to the show, bro. I'm
Thanks.
stoked to have you in here. Let's talk about some golf.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we were just kind of mentioning that, first time in probably ever that they've never had fans, at the Masters itself. So that'll be an interesting dynamic, definitely. And tell the listeners a little bit about what you mentioned earlier, with Tiger and everything around that.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Tiger Woods turned pro in 96. So it's been 24 years. He's playing full time on the PGA Tour. This is the first year he has not had a sea of people watching him. So obviously he draws off of enthusiasm by the crowds and so on and so forth. So he doesn't have that. It's a different dynamic for him to play
Oh, yeah.
under. Same with a lot of prolific guys that have been on the PGA Tour for a while and so on and so forth. And even like a Brooks Koepka. Brooks has been able to draw massive crowds over the past few years. So it's a big change for a lot of these guys to play in front of no one, no noise. Obviously you see guys joking, like tipping their cap after they make them.
Got to.
Yeah.
So
Piping in the crowd noise.
yeah.
That's
Someone
Chuck
in the
Hogan
producer
move.
knows. Yeah.
So, but it's it's going to be really good for some people too.
Yep.
Obviously the nervous energy that people feel when they're in a high pressure situation, that goes away a little bit when there's no crowds and no people watching you.
Sure.
But for other people, like for me, I love crowds. Like, I
Sure.
draw off that energy.
Feed off
So,
that, yeah.
I really enjoy it. It gets me more in the moment. But other people, they get a little bit more nervous in that kind of situation. So for those kind of people, it's probably a little bit better right now. That's why sometimes you might see a few names up on the leaderboard that you might not see usually and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and no par 3 tourney this year.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, that's obviously one of the coolest parts about the Masters, but 2020 is a weird year, and I think everybody's ready for all this to be over, and hopefully everything goes back to normal in the near future.
I feel like it's going to as well.
And everyone just has to adapt. You could sit there and make excuses, or you could just go out there and keep kicking ass.
Yeah, I mean, like everything else, in
Sure.
life, you have to adapt to the circumstances that are in front of you, the cards that you're dealt. And, just adversity, at the end of the day, my college coach taught me it's all about how you respond to it. And that's what makes you great.
Yep.
So everyone's going to be faced with a decent amount of adversity in their life. And if you respond to it well, that's really what puts you over the top as far as a performer.
And being a stud athlete, right?
And it doesn't hurt if there's an 11 mil purse, a little motivation
Yeah.
to,
That does not hurt.
So if you were a betting man, who you got?
Oh, for the Masters, it's going to be tough. Again, I mean, you never want to bet against Tiger Woods.
Sure.
But it's going to be a little bit tougher. We have a tournament in a few weeks up in Atlanta, and I've been kind of looking at the weather up there. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It's not going to be 75, 80 and sunny. It looks like it's going to be in the 60s, maybe in the 50s. So, obviously, with my back stuff.
Sure.
It's hard to move in weather that's under 75 degrees.
Yep.
Once you get a little bit colder, everything gets tighter, obviously, and it's just a lot harder for the body to get going. You got to kind of put in an extra hour almost in the morning,
Sure.
and still the body doesn't feel the same. So
Sure.
it's going to be tough for Tiger to really get loose and stay loose throughout the whole week. But obviously that place you can't count him out at. So
Never.
but
Is he just gonna be foam rolling in between holes?
yeah, exactly. You might see that a little bit. But yeah, I think Rory might be ready to win his first Masters. I think that course really does set up well for him, the way he drives it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's coming in number 5 right now in the world.
Yeah,
Not too shabby.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, he just had a kid, so
he's eager to win.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny how that works. You see someone just have a newborn kid and you see them win like really quickly. It happens all the time. So, I think
he's thinking college fund.
Exactly. let me pad that college fund a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think he's ready to win his first Masters.
And another Jupiter local.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, good luck to you, Rory.
100%.
Yeah, boys.
So, Tiger took it last year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And be interesting to see, because like you said, everyone's got to adapt. And you were mentioning before we came on air, like imagine being the guy that has to play paired with him or right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, with no fans now, it's not an issue. But when you're playing in front of Tiger Woods in a golf tournament, you have a sea of people rushing a few holes ahead to make sure they get a glimpse at potentially one of the best athletes of all time.
Yeah.
So no matter whether they're a golfer going to that event or whether they're just a sports fan in general, or they just want to see Tiger Woods.
Sure.
That affects the groups ahead. When obviously those people, and listen, it's nothing against those people. We're glad that we have fans at events and so on and so forth, and the PGA Tour needs that for their platform.
Correct.
But those fans, they want to see the best player in the world, and if we were in their shoes, we would probably want the same thing.
Correct.
So it's just we got to be a little bit more mindful. If there's a sea of people at following a certain group when we're playing, just be a little bit more mindful of where they're at. And I mean, like I said, I know a few people that have played right in front of Tiger, and they said that's by far the hardest group.
Terrifying.
Yeah, that's funny.
But it's cool to see. Like I know a couple of the previous tournaments, like the people that work at the golf course just want to come down and watch him. No fans were allowed, but they tried to create a vibe of like,
oh yeah,
there's people watching.
So to elaborate on that little trivia fact, my cousin Nick Kearns used to run one of the greens every year at the Masters.
Oh, that's
No
pretty
way.
cool.
So he's definitely one of the stud golf course guys around in Florida. So tipping my cap to him.
Yeah, I have a buddy, Ron Garrison, who was the super at my home club, Fox Hill.
Heck yeah.
For a while, yeah, and he went down almost every year. So, yeah,
that's funny.
Pretty cool, right?
They probably know each other.
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Have you played the course?
I have not.
No?
I have not yet.
I like that. Not yet.
Not yet, but we got got a lot of years in front of me.
Yes,
here.
sir.
So.
Yeah.
Especially when it's over 75 degrees,
exactly.
Here in South Florida.
exactly right.
That's the
I love
perks.
it.
Talk about, living here in South Florida. Like there's golf courses everywhere. What's it like to be, a professional golfer living in Palm Beach County?
It's hard to explain in words how truly blessed I am to have the opportunity that I have. I count my blessings every day. I'm telling you, I'm very, very fortunate. Obviously, I've worked hard to get where I am, but I'm very fortunate. I wake up every day. I get to go to the gym and play golf every day. It's when you go through a rough patch, you kind of look back and kind of put things into perspective and go, okay, well, listen, I don't have it that bad. It's okay. Like, everybody struggles professionally, but if you really take a look at the big picture, no matter what you do, and especially in my case, I can look and listen, what do I have to do tomorrow? I have to go to the gym and I have to practice golf.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people do when they retire. You know what I mean? It's so I'm very fortunate to do what I do, to have the support group that I have from back home to down here, to my amazing girlfriend, Danielle, my awesome family to support what I do. I'm just a lucky guy.
Well, and you've worked your ass off, winning a big tournament in Latin America on the Latin American tour. I mean, that was probably a big step in the right direction for you, confidence-wise.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit how that felt.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was fortunate enough through my entire amateur to professional playing career up to that point to advance pretty quickly with the platforms that I
Correct.
got on. So whether it was when I got to the college level, I won quickly there. When I got to the professional level, I won quickly there. And unfortunately, had an injury back into 2017 that obviously I saw you a bunch for, and
Correct.
it was tough. It was really tough. I went through 3 months of really not being able to get up and walk more than 3 steps without feeling like I was going to fall down. Pretty demoralizing, degrading. To basically be that point, I'm 20, just turned 23 years old, and I get up out of a car and fall down. So that changed things a little bit. Had to figure out how to adapt to a new normal lifestyle. Understand that I need to put in a lot more time than anybody my age because of what I had going on.
Correct.
And it was a tough dynamic to understand that, okay, well, if I have a tea time at 7:30 a.m., like I got to get up at 3:30.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what I have to do.
Sure.
And with other guys, they're like, God, how do you do that? I have a tea time at 7:30. I'm going to get up at 6, roll out of bed and get there, 45 minutes before do this. I can't do that.
Correct.
Their warm-up's a cup of Joe.
Yeah, exactly. So I just can't do that. It's not, if I do that for 2-3 straight days, I'm feeling it hard.
Yep.
So, I played Corn Ferry in 2018 and 2019 and just had a really bad few months in 2019 where I played the worst golf of my life. And I had a decision to make at that point where I was struggling with my back a little bit. I had some months where I wasn't really feeling great, and I just kind of kept playing through it. And I said, listen, you have a decision to make here, whether, obviously you just set yourself a little bit backwards of where you want to be and where you've been trending. And either you really put the time in, understand where you are, and do that extra, 3 hours instead of the extra hour I was doing, and really, putting my head down and realizing that I can still reach my dreams quickly if I do all the right things.
Correct.
And, that really turned around the way I was feeling at that point, because it was a very difficult 3 months. I've never played golf like that in my life. Never had those feelings of, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Sure.
So again, I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna do this, and then change my swing. Got a new swing coach, Dale Gray, who has been fantastic, Australian guy.
That's right. We were talking about Down Under before this. Yeah.
Really, really great guy. Phenomenal swing coach. He works great with me. It's really a great team to have.
That's awesome.
And we started working on some things to really drive in that, protect my back.
Beautiful.
Moving the right way.
Beautiful.
Keeping spine angles, so on and so forth, things like that. So my golf swing's gotten a lot better, and since I started working with him, playing tournaments, I really haven't had, unfortunately, the only bad tournament I had was the PGA Tour event I played in.
Sure.
So other than that, I played really great. Obviously, with this local IQ tour that's going on,
that's really cool too, by the way.
They've done an incredible job for the resources that they were given. And the tour that they put together for us was very quickly. Actually, for everything that goes into it, it was more impressive than people
realize
can possibly imagine.
I agree.
With the golf courses that we got, the setups that we got, the way they're run, it was really awesome. So, I think I've had only one round over par since that started, playing really nicely. Just need to have a few things fall more in place. I mean, it's funny. I keep telling everybody, these guys are getting better. Technology is getting better. Everyone knows exactly how far they hit it with, TrackMan, Flight Scope, the GC Quad, and everybody knows exactly what their club head's doing, their swing path. And they know exactly how far they're carrying a golf ball, what that does in certain conditions. So it's just gotten, the information that you're able to attain as a professional golfer now makes it much easier to play great golf. And all these young kids, and even kind of some veterans, are taking advantage of it, and everyone's just getting better. I mean, it's crazy. You have to play pretty damn good golf in order to win a golf tournament now.
Well, I think it's I'd like to tip my cap to you, because not only are you learning at a young age, fortunately, you excelled very quickly, but you're also learning that the longevity of your sport is based upon health.
Yes.
And you're investing in that now before you get beat up. 100%. And I think that's a valuable lesson to a lot of the other athletes out there who may be, trying to milk a few more years out of the league or whatever it may be. You need to invest more into that time of prep and even post-treatments, so you can play the next 15, 20 years of your life or 40 years of your life on the senior tour.
Yeah. And I think it's a really interesting thing, to go in line with that, what Bryson's doing now. I kind of slowed down his swing the other day when he was, I don't know if you guys saw the video of him doing the Cobra Puma shoot.
Oh my gosh, did you see that?
He was kind of going nuts a little bit, like trying to reach 208, screaming. Now, I slowed his swing down, and it's amazing how well he stays in posture for how hard he's swinging. He's able to kick out his left heel.
You notice that?
Kind of do a couple different things in order to stay in posture, and able to maybe protect his body a little bit more than I thought he would be able to, reaching those speeds.
Sure.
Because we talked about sustainability with him on a previous episode.
Yeah, I truly don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't sit here and say, well, his body's going to break down. I think it might, because I know what it's like to swing hard, and I know what it does to a body.
Well, yeah, with the guy with the longest drive on Corn Ferry.
Yeah, so for me, I get what hitting a ball far does to your body.
Yeah.
And maybe obviously I move differently than Bryson, but consistently, if Bryson is an incredibly hard worker.
Correct.
His work ethic is above and beyond almost anybody on the PGA Tour.
Correct.
Maybe in sports in general.
I agree.
So the amount of golf balls that he's hitting. Okay, think about this. So when you make impact of a golf ball at a 200-mile-an-hour club head speed.
Just think about that.
I'm sorry, 200-mile-an-hour ball speed.
Yeah.
And 130-plus mile-an-hour club head speed. That does something to a body.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. And how long he's going to be able to sustain that, it's going to be, I'm interested to see.
Everybody is.
Because if he can do that for a long period of time and have his body hold up, I mean, there's going to be trainers that are dissecting him down to every little bit, going, how can you possibly do this and stay healthy? So it's going to be fun to watch over the next few years.
Correct.
And it's funny, like even me, I've been relearning how to golf. And like when you first get out there, like you just want to fucking crush the ball, right?
100%.
You just want to get it out there. You're like, yeah, I took my chip shots, my wedge shots, and let's just see how far we can go. But it's really fun with the finesse. And I think that's where, I've learned a lot more appreciation for what it takes. And Tiger Woods has actually been doing a lot of media with the PGA on YouTube of like how to hit certain balls, like watching his Stinger video the other day. So freaking cool, man, to like break down how he wants the club face to be facing at impact or something. And it's like, wow, there's so much that goes into it. It's almost like pool, where like you need to be setting up your next shot and not just like hitting it as far as you can go or anything else. But it's nice to see Bryson, who can crush it, but also has like the short game to go along with it.
I think two things on that. Let's give a shout out to Chris Como, obviously Bryson's swing coach.
Sure.
Look at what he's done with Bryson and Tiger, right? And I think something that's special and unique about Chris is he doesn't try to fit you into this is how you should look swing. He takes what you're really, really good at and excels at that, and maybe tweaks this or that.
Well, so from what, again, I don't know Chris, but I've heard from several people about his philosophy of teaching, and he's a very technical guy.
Yep.
And, both Tiger and Bryson are both very technical guys.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that fits the mold.
Correct.
And again, you have to have a guy. That's the one thing. Swing coaches nowadays, I believe that you really need to click on a mental level with them.
Agreed.
The verbiage that swing coaches use nowadays is almost the most important part of a lesson. You can go to 10 different swing coaches, okay? And they will tell you the exact same thing with different verbiage.
Yeah.
Okay. And you will go to one out of those 10 is going to say the right thing to you. And you go, well, why didn't any of these other guys tell it? Well, they did, but it's just completely different in a realm that maybe you don't understand that they understand. So it's correlating that verbiage to make you understand and using different words that are going to make you feel comfortable with a change. So you need to feel out the guy first. And again, like that's why I said Chris Como is very technical, but Bryson and Tiger understand technical.
It's funny you say that. That's the same exact thing Logan Morrison said on the show about hitting coaches.
Yeah.
It's relatability and getting that kind of verbiage across.
No
and
question.
he says, oh my God, that's the best swing coach ever. And this other guy's like, oh man, he sucks.
Yeah.
And
100%.
You're hitting the nail on the head. So it's cool to see that as a running theme. It doesn't matter what the sport is.
Yeah, I think the best swing coaches in the world now can adapt to the player and use the proper verbiage for that player. So he might tell you one thing, and he might tell me another thing that are exactly the same, but he uses different verbiage, and they click both to me and you.
Effective communication.
100%.
Yeah.
And all the hard work that goes in behind the scenes.
Oh,
because like we saw that. Remember, it was like 2 tournaments ago where Bryson was out there at like 11:30 p.m. or something.
Yep.
By himself.
That's what he won.
Yeah, that was at the Open at Wingfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, nothing replaces hard work.
No way.
Yeah.
There's
That's
nothing.
true. That's very true.
And being able to hit the ball friggin' 400 or
Doesn't
close
hurt.
to it, right? Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Definitely doesn't hurt.
Boys, let's move on to a little bit about the Thursday night game last night. We had the Carolina Panthers versus the Falcons.
Dude, poor Teddy
Shout
Bridgewater.
out to you, Matt Rule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little
Okay.
little holler.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just showing before the show went live, we were seeing the flea flicker last night. Did you see that?
I didn't see the flea flicker because I went back and watched the highlights and I saw that late hit on Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was brutal.
Yep.
You don't want to see a guy come in like that. So
Especially after the injury.
I was just going to say
went
that.
through a few years ago. I mean, that was one of the most brutal football injuries of all time.
Yep.
it's tough too because I as someone who played football for 8 years or something as a kid, sometimes your adrenaline gets going and your goal is to stop somebody, and like he stopped Teddy Bridgewater from going any further, but it was pretty brutal. But I didn't see the flea flicker. What happened?
Yeah, so a huge touchdown. I think it was 7-6. Probably like a 40-yard throw, little flea flicker. And we were just talking about that too. Like some of these big trick plays are starting to really take off for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, last few years you see 1 or 2 a game almost. It feels like, right?
Well, and now you have like the Dak Prescotts and the Pat Mahomes that are replacing like that Peyton Manning mold.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interesting to see. But then when you see an injury because you have a running quarterback, like how sustainable is that to not have a pocket passer? I don't know. Pat Mahomes is in a different build though than most people.
I mean,
so.
he's
a stud.
He's so good.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, in every sport now, the athlete is getting better.
Correct.
And I think football's getting a little bit smarter with the penalties and protecting the quarterback and things like that. But
which I appreciate.
yeah. But football again, it's taken the originality out of it where it's just hit that guy as hard as you can with the ball.
sure.
Get him down to the ground as quickly as you can. So you got to be a little bit more careful now. So some of the plays obviously people will agree with, they don't agree with, depending on obviously whose side you're on too, that
Correct.
plays a part. But it's a tough little hurdle to get over here, with the protection of the quarterback and also being able to just let them play the game.
Correct.
What's your thoughts about athletes and like being involved in multiple sports like growing up? Did you play any other sports growing up
Yeah.
that you feel like could have helped you when you came to the golf course?
Yeah, played a ton of baseball, played some basketball. Never played football.
Yeah.
I actually bowled which
Hey,
was fun.
attaboy.
I mean,
attaboy.
you got to stay inside in Northeast Pennsylvania during the winter, so
Big Lebowski.
had to do something.
Yeah, shout out to the dude, man. He's having
Yeah.
some cancer treatment right now.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Yep.
tough.
It's terrible.
Yep.
But I think like because I was bringing that up because Pat Mahomes came from like the baseball background, and that's why he can throw the ball like this, like this, like this, like
I
that.
mean, I think it's a great thing for kids throughout their entire high school career to play several
Multi-sport, yeah.
sports.
I know that's something that Spence has always harped on. Like you don't have to be a pitcher 12 months out of the year. Like pitch for 6 months and then go play basketball or like whatever, you know,
100%.
hand-eye coordination, balance, like things that you can bring back. But like quantity is not the answer, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, on that topic too, not you know, I'm not talking about multi-sports. I'm just, you know, when you get into your singular professional athlete sport. So like for me, I play golf, obviously, Pat Mahomes, football, so on, those kind of things. So when you're playing, you have to make sure you don't get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's having that getaway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, in high school, it might be that getaway just keeps rolling into other sports where you never get bored. Okay, I'm kind of over baseball. Well, basketball's starting up soon, so I'm excited for that.
Exactly.
But now, you know, when you are a professional athlete, you have to find a good balance.
Agreed.
You know, there's a lot. I've seen so many people get burnt out, and I think I definitely was a little bit last year for sure. I've definitely hit those points where my body just, you know, my mind's saying go, and my body's just like, I can't do it. So you got to kind of realize that,
Sure.
and be able to kind of get away, take some time for yourself, put the clubs away, you know, put the bats away, do whatever, you know. And I think it's the greatest thing in the world to sit there. I mean, for me, I went to Temple University. We couldn't play golf for, you know, 3 months out of the year. You know, we had snow on the ground.
Right.
We couldn't play. So it's that reinforced the idea of how important time off is. And also, when you're getting sick of something and you do it every day and you put it away for a week, 2 weeks, at that week and a half, you're like, I kind of want to bring that out again. I'm excited to go do this again. And that gives you a whole new perspective.
I like that.
How is it having a good friend who's a black belt nearby?
Yeah. No, that's not fun. That's why I listen to everything she says.
Okay.
And I just whatever you want, honey.
Sure.
Whatever you want, honey. You know, I don't mess with that.
She's a real butt kicker, huh?
Oh yeah, I don't want to find out.
No, okay.
I don't want to find out.
Rather not.
I love that.
Yeah, that's funny. But I think that's something that we learned with when we had her on the Palm Beach podcast was cross sports, you know?
Yep.
Karate crossed over with cheerleading. There was similar moves and everything else. And so it's cool to have somebody that you can relate to on that level of just, you know, being an athlete and being competitive. And I'm sure you guys are going to have a putting competition. And
She's so funny. So did she tell you about the story where I think she played 1 year of basketball and she hit a 3 and did a round off back handspring. I think I'm saying that right.
No way, yeah.
And the coach is like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?
Celebrate, coach.
Get on the bench." It's like,
oh, that's so good.
Got to go play.
yeah.
I love it. Boys, let's move on to a little bit of discussion about the World Series champs.
Yeah, we have to.
Unfortunately, the Rays didn't take it. So we were mentioning last week, it would have been cool if the Rays won the Stanley Cup, World Series, and then obviously Tammy Brady in the Buccaneers would have been cool to see. But however, the Lakers won the NBA championship and then the World Series. First time since 1988.
Really?
Yeah, they're looking hard for that trifecta.
So
I saw somebody from the Dodgers tweeted out to like Jared Goff on the Rams, and he was like, "Come on, you know what you got to do." Like LeBron and I did what we had to do,
And everyone thought it was going to be Boston.
correct.
Everyone thought it was going to be Boston
Sure.
that did that. I mean,
yeah,
the incredible run that those sports teams have had over the last 20 years. I mean, it's unprecedented.
not even fair.
Yeah,
No, it's not even
yeah,
fair.
exactly.
It's not even fair. You know, you envy Boston fans, and you know, it's just, but you also can't stand them. You know,
And all over golf.com was Tiger wearing his Dodgers gear
oh,
too.
100%.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was wearing the swag.
Yeah.
Hey, Tampa's just a hop and a skip across the way, boys. That's
true.
Maybe we could have won him over. He could have been a homer and thrown on the Rays swag.
I love it.
But yeah, I guess, dude, I pulled up some stats on the Dodgers, boys. Look at the consistency. Since 2012, they've been in the playoffs every year, and they went back-to-back World Series, 17 and 18. Unbelievable consistency from that ball club.
Yep.
Just to be in the running in the postseason for like 8 years in a row or something is like, there's something to be said about that. And there's also something to be said about Tampa Bay, who is, not big money. I think we had Sean Wilson's segment last week where he was like, there was 2 players on the Dodgers who passed the whole salary for the whole Rays, just
Correct.
2 of their players. So,
Really
bummed for the Rays. There was a lot of energy here in Florida. I felt like everyone was freaking pumped. Like we came off the back of the Lightning.
The Heat.
Yeah, the Heat were there too. So, but bit of a controversy, and our boy Kevin Shackelford with the analytics department, he might be his segment might be ringing true. Where they pulled Snell because of stats.
Yep.
They didn't want one pitcher to face Mookie 3 times.
Yep.
That was the quote from Mr. Cash. So we'll see if Cash keeps his job, because there's a little bit of a call to get him out of there.
So I'm kind of on the fence.
I'm agreeing with you.
As far as stats
I'm
and feel
agreeing.
go.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, and I'm going to relate this to golf here. So you're on the back 9 of a big tournament, okay? And you look at stats and you say, well, I should probably hit it over here, but I'm really feeling good about this. Well,
yeah,
you're gonna go with your feels.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you have a club that's been treating you well, or a certain swing or finish,
you just see it.
Yeah.
You have confidence in yourself. That's what it's all about. Having confidence in yourself and your team and so on and so forth, to be able to pull off that really difficult shot play in a high pressure situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what professional sports is all about. That's where greatness comes about.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to kind of let that professional athlete who has worked his entire life to get to that situation, let him take over. Let him tell you how he's feeling. Let him make the decision whether, no, I got this. Don't make the decision for him, because you are not that player. You have not worked that hard to get to that situation. That player has to make that decision.
yeah, especially if you've struck out 13 of 18.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're winning.
Exactly.
You're still winning. So I know we have a lot of friends, because Spence and I are from Sarasota, like hop and a skip from Tampa, and everyone's Rays fans where we're from. And social media was popping with people were pissed that they pulled Snell.
Well, it's funny you say that too, Brain. I was talking to a PGA golfer yesterday, and it's verbatim what he said. He's like, if you give me I either have to make the cut or I'm winning out and I got to finish. He's like, I don't want any distractions. I'm so laser focused. I know that shot's going to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know it's going there.
Yeah. And you don't want to pull anybody from that situation.
Correct.
And, again, all people are different. Okay. So in that kind of situation, you need to just feel out the player. And, like in a golf situation, the caddy needs to feel out the player.
Correct.
The caddy needs to be like, okay, well, how is he feeling about this shot? And the player looks at him and goes, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
Caddy needs to back
Back off.
And,
Yeah.
you're good. Now, if the player said that in the first round, don't worry, I got this, he's trying to hit a stupid shot, maybe the caddy should step in. But, there's certain situations where you don't mess with a player's mentality and when he gets into that zone, you don't even come close to trying to take him out of it.
The flow state, baby.
You know the deal.
Well, speaking of golf, I think we got to throw it over to Sean Wilson for a minute.
Let's see what he says.
Ahoy. Skipper here. Let's talk golf. Now, the Masters is all about honoring long-standing traditions at one of the most beautiful courses on the PGA Tour, if not in the world. But it's 2020, so we're throwing tradition and the norms out the window. This year's tournament is being played in mid-November, minus the infamous par 3 tourney, without spectators, and on a course that won't be tickling our irises with its typical floral flair. Let's tee off, shall we? This is the first time since World War II that the Masters is to be played outside of April. The tourney wasn't held in 1943, 44, or 45. And fun fact, to help with the war effort, turkey and cattle were raised on the Augusta National Grounds. Now the seasonal changes affect more than just tradition here, as temperatures, wind, and sunlight will also play major roles. Let's talk about fall weather in Augusta. The average highs in November are almost 15 degrees cooler than in April. For some guys, that's going to equate to slower swing speeds and potentially shorter drives. Obviously, Bryson DeChambeau won't be concerned with this. Something he may be concerned with is wind speed and direction. Typically, in April, the winds are likely to be out of the west or south and are a bit more constant. Whereas, during November, they're more likely to be out of the north to east range and can be either the leading edge of gusty cold fronts or another fall-time wind and rain phenomenon we lovingly refer to as nor'easters. Could guys who played this week in Bermuda have an upper hand with the wind? Winds are uncertain, but the sun is not. We know that from April 9th through 12th, there was an average of about 13 hours of sunlight, but after daylight savings time ends on Halloween, that number will shrink to a daily average of 10.5 hours for November 12th through 15th. For the record, that's nearly 2.5 less hours per day. Sunlight won't be the only time constraint either. CBS is committed to airing college football Saturday night at 8 p.m. and an NFL game at 4 on Sunday, so the final round broadcasts, aka the tournament, are thus time limited. Let's hope this puppy doesn't wander into a sudden death showdown. Now, this all means that not just tee times, but the entire format in general are different this year in order to accommodate the 96 player field. The Masters will resort to everyone's favorite 2-tee start for first 2 rounds and implement morning and afternoon waves. Will they also have to go back to a double tee start of threesomes for the final round? Show of hands, boys. Who wants to start their round staring right into Amen Corner?
Thanks, Sean Wilson. We appreciate the deep dive.
That was a good. Honestly, I was impressed with it.
And the skipper starting
Every
to take
week.
over. It's starting to take over.
I like the American flag glove.
We're really, really stoked to have Sean Wilson, who lives in the Keys, can't be here in studio, but still wants to be a part of the Sport Folio show. It just feels good, So
He's our
cheers to you.
caddy.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a pretty damn good one.
The old skipper.
He looks like he can make the right decisions at the right time.
Oh my gosh. Well, dude, is there anyone that you want to thank on your way out?
Well, I mean, obviously, you guys, thanks
Sure.
for having me in here.
Cheers, man.
And also, obviously, having Danielle on. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a relationship with someone that is just absolutely outstanding. She's a great person. We work great together. It's just awesome, an awesome team that we have here. And for me, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position that I'm in, like I talked about before, to be able to live in what I consider one of the best places in the country to live.
Yeah, bro.
And like I said, I count my blessings every day. I have a great team around me. My agent Drew Carr, my swing coach Dale Gray. Several of my sponsors are absolutely incredible. Strix on Adidas. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. I can sit here for another hour,
Sure.
Thanking people that have really supported me and are highly influential in my life. So it's just hopefully we're gonna have a hell of a 2021.
Not hopefully, bro. Keep executing, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for coming in
Cheers,
on a
guys.
Friday morning.
Cheers my water here for you.
With all the minerals.
That's it.
Until next time.
To me.
To you.